What if the internet wasn't just a web of pages and data, but a single thinking entity, like a global brain? It's a pretty radical idea, and that's exactly what we're diving into today, a concept called Neuronet. Okay, so take a look at this. This wild-looking diagram is basically the blueprint for that very idea. It forces you to ask a huge question. What if the entire internet could actually function like one massive conscious brain? It's a lot to take in, so let's start at the beginning with the core vision. So what is the big idea here? Well, we're not just talking about a simple upgrade. Faster speeds or more storage. Neuronet is proposing a whole new architecture for how intelligence itself could exist and operate on a planetary scale. The creator, Guy Lakeman, has this very specific definition for it: an efficient, global, broad-spectrum democratic intelligence. Now that's a mouthful, so let's break it down. Efficient hints at a totally new way of handling data. Global broad spectrum means it learns from everything, everywhere, all at once. And democratic intelligence, well, that's the philosophical heart of it all. A system that's open to everyone, not locked down by just a few powerful players. And when we talk about scale, we are talking about something huge. The vision is for a network of 10 billion interconnected units. Not a million, not 100 million, 10 billion, spread across the entire globe, with each one acting like a tiny neuron in what could become a planetary consciousness. Okay, so why build something this ambitious? To really get that, you first have to understand the problem Neurotonet is trying to solve with our current way of doing AI. And this quote from the source material, man, it just nails the critique of where we are right now. Most of our powerful AI models run in these massive centralized data centers, these intelligence factories. They are incredibly power-hungry, and let's be honest, they're controlled by a handful of giant companies. So that's the problem, and it really begs the question, right? Do we have to do it this way? Can we move away from these centralized, energy-guzzling factories toward a model that's more distributed, more efficient, and, ultimately more open for everyone? All right, but how does a network of 10 billion units actually think? I mean, wouldn't that just be a constant, overwhelming fire hose of data? Well, the answer lies in a really clever mechanic for how it shares information. The secret sauce here is something called token weight change packets. So, instead of nodes sending huge amounts of raw data back and forth to each other, they only share the changes in what they've learned. Think of it like this. It's about exchanging the new insight, not the entire library it came from. This chart really lays it out. On one side, you have traditional AI, which has to shuffle these enormous vector databases around, these incredibly complex libraries of relationships. It takes a ton of bandwidth. But Neurotonet, it just sends the updates, the little packets of change, which totally slashes the data load. And this is the analogy that makes it all click. The source material calls it MPEG for intelligence, and that is just brilliant. You know how when you stream a video, it doesn't resend the entire picture every single frame? It just sends the pixels that have changed. Neuronet wants to do the exact same thing, but for concepts, for ideas, for knowledge. It's basically a compression algorithm for intelligence itself. So if we zoom back into our diagram, right at the heart of every single one of these units is a large, smart neuron model. Each one is its own little self-contained, self-training brain. It learns from its own data, and then it decides for itself what new insights are actually important enough to share with the rest of the network. And the whole point is that this system is designed to be autonomous. The goal, and this quote captures it perfectly, is to let the network learn at machine speed without being slowed down by, well, human bottlenecks and our dilly-dallying. Okay, so we've got the building blocks. We have the smart neurons, we have the efficient data packets. Now let's put it all together and see how we get to, and you gotta love this name, the Global Intelligence Furball. It all starts here, on Earth. Picture a web of those 10 billion neuron models we talked about, blanketing the entire planet. This is the foundation, a distributed network running on everything from your phone and your PC to dedicated servers. But it doesn't stop at the atmosphere. Take a look. The diagram shows the network reaching out, connecting to these orbiting nodes called satellite sun-grabbing intelliballs. They're basically relays and power sources out there in space. And the ambition just keeps going. I mean, it goes all the way to the moon, with a moonball acting as another major node in this system. We're talking about a truly interplanetary network. And when you put all of those pieces together, the planetary web, the satellites, the moon node,
That is the full picture. That's when you get what the creator calls the global intelligence furball.
So we've covered the tech, the how, but maybe the more interesting part is the why. What's the philosophy behind this whole thing? That brings us to this idea of a truly democratic intelligence. And it really comes down to these core principles. We're talking about open ownership and decentralized control, which means no single company or government runs the show, no expensive global standards, because the smart neurons are smart enough to figure out how to talk to each other. And it all serves one big goal: sharing all kinds of knowledge with everyone. This final quote, this really gets to the heart of what it could mean for you, the user. The vision isn't just about asking a chatbot a question. It's about you becoming your own professor, directing your own team of superintelligent AI agents to go out and learn and research and create for you. You're not just a user, you're the conductor of an intellectual orchestra. So what do we make of all this? Is it a practical blueprint for a global brain? Or is it just a really cool sci-fi dream? Maybe the biggest takeaway here isn't whether this exact diagram ever gets built. It's the challenge it presents to how we think about AI. It's asking us to stop seeing intelligence as something locked in a box in a data center, and to start imagining it as a living global ecosystem that we are all a part of. And that is a truly world-changing thought.